Welcome back, everybody. This is Brother Mean here. Today we are doing a specific viewer requested build. This is a Vivisectionist build. Redvenge, this is for you, buddy. This is one of two builds. I'm going to work on the Flame Warden later tomorrow, so look for that in the next day or two. This one here is a Vivisectionist build, so you get sneak attack damage, major buffing, still be able to throw those two weapons that you wanted to throw. We're using Bag of Tricks to force level the character up, and we're also using Eldritch Arcana for a lot of really nice buffs for our character, thanks to things like traits. I know you said you didn't want to solo. That doesn't mean you won't solo at some point, so I'm decided to make you a character that's capable of soloing. We have a team that's already in the Tenabra steps that we're going to use to basically bounce out of here, purchase ourselves a companion, and that companion will have 25 skill points just like your main character would, so that you can actually see what the leveling process looks like. I have decided for this build, since you didn't really specify a race and you said you didn't particularly care, I'm going to go with Elf for obvious reasons. It's a bonus to Dex and it's bonus to Intelligence, are two stats that you give a rat's ass about for being a Vivisectionist that's using your Dexterity to throw weapons at bad guys. Dexterity is going to be what's used to your attack bonus, and your Strength is going to be what's used to do the damage. You don't need anything else other than that. I mean, other than, of course, the feature like point blank shot, precise shot, stuff like that to make sure you hit. But by and large, you don't need like weapon finesse, you don't need anything like power attack. We will get deadly aim, that's kind of the same, I suppose. But there is other stuff that we'll need to talk about. Again, other things that you're going to get from being an elf is like a bonus to perception, which is always appreciated, I'm sure. Elven magic, while we don't care about the spell pen +2 that you're going to get here, it's nice, I suppose. But by and large, it's the knowledge arcana that's useful here. Elven immunities, I love being immune to sleep effects. Keeps you from taking a dirt nap, quite frankly, and a bonus to your saves against enchantment spells and effects, and that's really nice because those are usually will saves, and guess what? Vivisectionists, and all alchemists for that matter, have crappy will saves, so this is actually a nice bonus for you as well. Also, weirdly, you have Elven Weapon Familiarity, something that, again, you get for free. Doesn't matter that you can only use simple weapons, you can also use all the weapons listed here. Notice, if you have Martial Weapon Training, which you do not, you need it, we're going to get it, you can use the Elven Curved Blade. Now, I know you said that you didn't care anymore about that. You want to go back to the dual wielding with the Javelin and the throwing axe. But I figured, well, what the hell? You're already an elf. You're already going to have the ability to wield it. So we could give you weapon finesse and capitalize on the ability to use, say, an Elven Curved Blade if you ever decide to melee. I think you can use an Elven Curved Blade one-handed and therefore have something in the offhand like a dagger. And that'll come up in here in a moment. So let's actually talk about that. We're going Alchemist, we're going Vivisectionist for 20 straight levels. I don't care about the color scheme, but I'll make it white and green, sure, why not? From here, skill-wise, or ability-wise, you want to have 13 Strength, 18 Dex, 10 Con, 18 Intelligence, and that finishes us off. You could floor Wisdom and Charisma to give you a solid, say, con of 14. You know, up to you on that one. Or you know, it bumping up your strength to 14 and then your con being 13. Doesn't matter, because again, you're going to finish that odd number off. But I don't like doing that, and the reason I don't like doing that is because, again, you already had will problems. Why take it down to a point where you have a -2 to your will saves? That makes it even worse. So I don't mind this spread right here. It looks bad. Trust me, it's not as bad as you think. It's going to get much better once we start slapping you on the buffs in here. As far as skills are concerned, mobility, trickery, stealth, we're not going to invest in that one just yet. We're going to get there. Arcana, perception, of course, use magic device, and persuasion will be the ones we give a rat's ass about. Mobility is going to go to 3. Trickery, arcana, perception are all going to 20. Probably could get really close to getting 20 for use magic device or persuasion. We'll even get a little bit of love for the stealth. And that's because we're going to push 1 point into strength, 2 points into dex, and 2 points into intelligence. On that, I would not do strength first. I would honestly do strength last. Why? Because it's the one stat on those 3 that you give a rat's ass about. It's just extra damage, extra carrying capacity, nothing really special about it. Extra armor, extra reflexes, you know, extra chance to hit with your attacks, especially if we're doing weapon finessing for your melee attacks. This is a solid upgrade. Same with intelligence, extra skills. You want those as soon as you can-ish. And you also get, of course, a bonus to then your knowledge arcana and some other things, which we'll talk about later. But by and large, this is going to be a really nice build for your character. Extremely tough despite the appearances to the contrary. Notice because of the Eldritch Arcana mod, we get traits. We also can get, instead of 2, we can get 3 if we take a drawback, either an emotional drawback or a physique drawback. I recommend the emotional drawback first of envy. The reason for this is it's a penalty to your concentration checks if you don't have enough money. 2 things to take from this: always have money. If you can't, know that this is not a problem for your character, because while you do cast spells, you're probably pre-buffing with those spells, which means no concentration check anyway. So again, a non-starter, it's not an issue. Because of this gives us 3 traits. I will always, in almost every instance, grab Blade of the Society for every tune that I make. Why? It's a free sneak attack die plus 1. What do I mean by that? It's 1d6 plus 1 of damage that you get for sneak attack, like this one, but the plus 1 extra. And that plus 1 extra works for all other sneak attack dice. So by the end of this build, you're going to have 10 sneak attack dice, plus 1 more from this, so 11d6 of damage per sneak attack. And we're going to get you upwards of 9 attacks in a goddamn combat round, which is going to be baller. But it's not just 11d6 sneak attack damage, it's 11d6 plus 11. And I know that don't sound like much, but remember, that's damn near plus 12. That's the equivalent of having 2 more sneak attack die where they guarantee to max out. So instead of 11d6, think of it more like 13d6 and then some. That's pretty badass, and that's per hit, assuming, of course, sneak attack is applicable. This is a solid upgrade. The way I do traits, just so we're clear for anyone else that's watching this video, and again, this isn't a modded build for sure. It's because of that we have these. I would go through these lists and see if there's something of importance to your character. I mean, I know that sounds silly, but bear with me on this. For example, notice this one's a bonus to Persuasion. Also, Persuasion is always a class skill for you. What does that mean? If you go to skills, you see how we don't have a green check mark here? Same with stealth, same with mobility. These are the ones I care about. If I wanted those to be better, then I definitely want the green check mark. So something like that one I just pointed out here, where the Persuasion is a class skill, that means it gets the green check mark, and it even gets a plus 1 bonus besides. So again, this is a way to make your characters better with nothing more than traits. There's other stuff that traits can do. I mean, here's one that gives you a bonus to your initiative, a plus 2. This is a solid upgrade, especially for someone that wants to sneak attack. You have a high dex, and you're going to have a really high dex when we mutagen you up. Again, there's all kinds of other things we can do here. But the point's still the same. This could be a solid choice. There's other things in here that's interesting. If you're a monk, for example, you get another key pool point. Again, that doesn't sound like a big deal, but trust me, for a monk, that's power. That's something that you could capitalize on. We're not doing any of those things, and again, I figured why not make your sneak attacks just that much more awesome. And at level 1, it may not kick in, because it says at level 3. I haven't actually officially tested this part yet. But if it does kick in like it says it does at level 3, you have 2 sneak attack die here and here, 1 more thanks to this, so you're at 3d6 plus 3 damage by level 3 guaranteed, and that's shortly after the tutorial. That's very, very quick into chapter 1 that you'll have that unlocked. I highly recommend it. Other stuff that's on this list, and again, we could go through everything on here. Some that I'm going to point out to you that are particular favorites of mine. Campaign trait, we're going to go Noble Born, we're going to go Lebeda, and we're going to go, it gives you a free ability like the Alchemy Mutagen. See that bad boy right there? That's fucking badass. That's your ability to take that mutagen now twice a day. It only lasts for 10 minutes per caster level until we get to here, at which point it takes a turn and goes for 1 hour per caster level, so 14 hours all the way to 20 hours per chug. Normally you only get 1. Now you can have 2. That's pretty awesome. And again, it allows you to literally go to an area, say, you know what, I don't want to save my mutagen for just the dungeon. If I get mugged with a really nasty fight on the way to said dungeon, then you kind of hem and haw about, well, should I take the mutagen now? Maybe I should save it for later. Well, no, you don't have to think about it. You got 2 uses a day. Chug 1 now, save 1 for later. You know what I'm saying? It's a solid upgrade. If you didn't want to do an elf, you could have gone gnome. Why? Let me show you another one that's pretty awesome. Social race. Notice the show unavailable. I think it's under race. Maybe it's not under race. Regional? Social. Social, there it is, sorry. Gnomish Alchemist, you have to clearly be a gnome to pick this one. Notice it gives you 2 uses extra a day, not just 1, but 2. You could be literally at 4 chugs a day of that damn thing, which would be overkill. But so what? The point is, if you went gnome, you could do this. The reason I didn't go gnome, there's not a lot of reason to want to. I mean, I know Jubilos is a gnome alchemist, not bombardier, an alchemist proper, one that throws bombs. But he doesn't have a bonus to his intelligence. He doesn't have a bonus to his dexterity. He has a bonus to con and charisma, 2 stats that we could give a rat's ass about. I mean, yeah, con's nice and charisma is useful too, but you don't care, so why would you go gnome? I mean, this seems weird to me, but you could go that route. Other stuff to point out though, notice the ones that aren't available, but ones that are available. Here's another example of one. A bonus to perception as well as perception for class skill. Again, a green check mark if you didn't have it. We do, so we don't have to worry about it. But then we could also do something like Child of the Streets. Again, if you didn't have trickery, we do. That's the green check mark here. But if we didn't, you could have gone Child of the Streets, a bonus to trickery, and you unlock it as a class skill. Again, you see my point here. Notice Adopted unloads like a crap ton of shit, and the stuff that we're going to get in here will be this one, in my opinion, the Ever Wary Tiefling. This is the one that you can be flat-footed still, but when you're caught flat-footed in that surprise round, it's not going to be common, but when it does happen to you, you lose all your dex modifier for your armor. That's a lot, like a lot. By the end of this build, you're going to lose upwards of 15 armor class when you do get surprised. Again, it's not going to happen often, but when it does, shit's going to hurt. So what do? You get something like this where you get half of that 15 back. That's 7 armor that you get back. You're still flat-footed. You still can be sneak attack, but there's ways around that. I'll show you that too. But this is a nice way to shield up your defenses, if you will. Shore them up a little bit. I'm not going to take this one at this level. We will pick it up later because, again, you don't have the high dexterity that you're going to have until later anyway. So what am I going to take? Well, let's see what else we have. Regional traits. You do Wanderlust versus some solid ground speed. Remember, you do have ranged attack, but those ranged attacks are crap. They're 30 feet range for those javelins and those throwing axes. So what do? You got to close the gap between you and the bad guy so you can hit them. So why not move a little faster? A solid choice. We have spells that can simulate this even better, though, so kind of lame. Notice Bruising Intellect. Not only is this Persuasion and Persuasion as a class skill for you, remember, we want that one, right? Here you go, green check mark and another +1, but keep reading. Up here, instead of using our Charisma modifier, which is 0, now we can use our Intelligence modifier, +4, eventually +5, and of course higher once we get you better gear. So you can see the appeal of this one. That's one we're going to grab. Not right now, later, but that's the one I'm working towards, is Bruising Intellect. Then, let's look at race traits. For being an elf, your choices are bonus to reflexes, kind of lame. You already have high dex, you don't need it. Bonus to initiative, again, useful. It's not the worst thing ever, but again, probably not necessary. Dilettante, we got, again, Persuasion. Persuasion as a class skill, but notice that, again, it still keys off of Charisma, so this would be a waste for you. Forlorn, on the other hand, bonus to Fortitude. That's a solid upgrade. You need Fortitude, and your con is only 10 right now. So again, a solid bonus to a saving throw you may need. You're not liking that one? Okay, let's go to Magic Trait and look at the stuff that's in here. Notice Pragmatic Activator. Everything else here is going to be kind of weird. Buffs to like Knowledge Arcana, which is useful. We got stuff like the ability to shapeshift more often. You don't do that. Spells. Your spells are there, but you really don't need them to be so much better. It's like 1 level better or better DC check. And again, most of your spells aren't attack spells, so there is no need for a DC check. But Pragmatic Activator, on the other hand, look at this bastard. Your Intelligence modifier, again the Intelligence modifier, used now for your Use Magic Device check instead of Charisma. You see the appeal here. So now this one is going to go through the goddamn roof. Watch what happens. See that? But, again, not right now. We will get to it. We'll get to it later. Faith Trait, another fine example of one in here that's particularly useful to me was Indomitable Faith. Notice a +1 to your will saves. Remember, your will saves straight up suck, yo, so why not have something useful on it? Again, not necessary right now. I'll grab it later, but there's plenty of other fun stuff in here to have. The one we're going to grab right now is an equipment trait, and this is a judgment call. You don't have to take it. You can take any of the ones I've mentioned before. Because we got 3 more to get, and you see we got more than 3 to pick from. But I'm going to get a family heirloom. The downside of this is there is no family heirloom for javelins. There is no family heirloom for thrown weapons, like thrown axe. So what do we grab? Well, shurikens is the only ranged thrown weapon here. You're not going to do that, though, and there's not shurikens really in the game. So it's kind of lame sauce. What am I going to grab, then? Dagger. I know it's lame, but hear me out. I would not javelin attack with this character until at least level 3, maybe even 4 or 5. Why? Because you straight up suck at it. I mean, sorry to say it that way, dude, but you're really not that good at it. Your strength is not that great. Your dex is okay, but it's not amazing. Your attack bonus at level 1 is 0. And then it goes 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, and then it'll finish off at a 15 by the end. So you're not swinging like a fighter. You're swinging like the middle ground guy. And again, the dex is helpful. 18 dex is a really solid upgrade for your chance to hit with that javelin or thrown axes. But you can't even use thrown axes right now because you need martial weapon proficiency, which we do not have yet. We'll get there, but not yet. Daggers, on the other hand, are simple weapons. You can use them immediately, and if we grab weapon finesse, which we don't have yet, then you can wield it with that high dexterity that you have. You see the appeal. Also, by picking the family heirloom, not only do they give you a magic dagger, a cold iron dagger +1 no less, they also give you a bonus to your swing with every dagger +1 at that point. And that will stack with, say, weapon focus daggers. Not that you're going to get it, I'm just saying that it would stack. So this is basically like weapon focus for daggers for free. And they give you a magic weapon. So right off the bat, if I get weapon finesse right now, have that magic dagger in my little fisties, and our dex that we have of 18, you'll be swinging with a solid, 4, 5, 6, a +6 to your swing at level 1. That's not bad, bro. And again, you're getting your sneak attack dice in there, well, 1 anyway, and again, you'll build into it. So I recommend this. And the reason I go dagger is not just because it's simple, because again, there's other kind of stuff in here that could have been useful, like rapiers could have been good for you, long swords could have been decent, you could have gone short sword, but a dagger, unlike most of those, is a light weapon. It's weapon finessable, unlike some of those, and there's a lot of daggers in the game. And if you're going to dual weapon wield, because again, you can dual weapon wield with your javelin and throwing axe, but you can also dual weapon wield with your melee weapons, obviously. So go elven curve blade in one hand, and in your offhand the dagger, the light weapon. You see that? So that's why I'm going that route. Okay. From here, the other thing to talk about is your feat. You're not a human, so you have only 1 feat, but I can get you 2 thanks to my mod by taking a penalty. That penalty will be spell vulnerability, abjuration. Why? Because it's only a penalty against cold and abjuration spells. There's not much cold. You can make yourself immune to cold, and you will in this build, no less. And the abjuration, there's not very many spells that are abjuration DC checks, so a -4 to the saves is kind of who gives a shit. So this is a solid penalty to take, quite frankly, to give you 2 feats for the price of 1. See that? So now, what do I recommend? Well, weapon finesse, like we said, you want to be able to wield that dagger, don't you? Well, here you go. But then, you probably don't want to go too much into melee, so get your point-blank shot, get your precise shot. Now, on the feats, let's go over quickly, for those that don't want to sit through a 2-hour video here. What feats were we going to grab? You need point-blank shot, you need precise shot. You need rapid shot for an extra hit. You need deadly aim for some more damage. You need clustered shots so that you can penetrate their resistances. You need improved critical, probably only for throwing axes. That's good enough for me. You're probably going to want 2-weapon fighting, improved 2-weapon fighting, and greater 2-weapon fighting by the end of the build. That's a lot of shit. Many that we can get up here, if not all of them. Some that we can get down here, which again we will incorporate into this build, but not heavily. Not going crazy on this with feats, and more feats, because there's some really good shit that you can get down here with your medical discoveries, okay? But this is a solid stretch or move in the right direction, okay? Spells, we're not going to talk about them other than to say, grab all of them, scribe them to your book. If you feel like you need it, grab it, is my advice to you. From here, we're just going to call her Vivi, and it's funny to me. Now, as far as alignment, you have no spells that matter for alignment. There is gear that matters for alignment. So there's lawful gear that's useful, gear where you have to be good to use it, or evil to use it, or chaotic to use it, or true neutral. I can't tell you what to pick. I'm just going to go with true neutral. Do what you do. But I'll show you the 3 rings, for example, that stick out to me. And true neutral is one of the best. Lawful good, or lawful anything, is a decent one. Chaotic anything is a decent one, but the true neutral is really the powerful one.
I'll take care of it.
Now, we're going Alchemist all the way. Notice I'm going to unlock all the stuff that we want, like stealth and persuasion, just to show you. Now, everything that we've invested in at this point is going to be stuff we invest in for the future, with the exception of mobility going to 3, and we'll never touch it again. This is only so that we can literally fight defensively and get another bonus to our armor class, as well as get a little skill checks every now and again for mobility. Again, you're good enough with your high enough dexterity that you'll catch a few of those things. And again, if you shut XP share off, where you don't give it to the teammates that don't do the XP check, or the skill check, you can actually level your character beyond the rest of the team. So you're level 3 when they're level 2. You're level 4 when they're level 3. You do that enough, you'd be surprised at how easy it is for you to be a level or 2 ahead of everybody else. And at some point, that'll be boring to you. You will shut it off, or turn it back on, however you want to think of it, where everyone gets XP evenly across the board. That's fine, but just make sure you're a little bit ahead of everyone else. That way you always are the one that's leading the team. As far as discoveries, again, we have our combat tricks. That's the thing you noticed the other day. I noticed it about the same time that you were posting that, which I thought was super funny. But we can get things like Precise Shot and many of the other ones that we want down in here. But I'm not going to grab all those. I want to talk first about some of the other stuff that's in here that's worth a damn. Preserve Organs, reasonable immunity to critical hit and sneak attack damage. 25%, then 50, then 75 if you grab it multiple times, which we will do. We can get Infusion. The spells that you have can only be used on you, unless you have Infusion. We will get this eventually. Other stuff, Fast Stealth is a solid choice. This allows you to, even while invisible, or just straight up stealthing, to hunker down instead of doing the tippy-toe, walking slow through a fucking area. You will move at a normal speed, 30 feet per round, or maybe even faster, depending. But a solid pace is my point, allowing you to get behind the bad guys and get into position. Right? So a solid upgrade for a fast stealth character, especially someone that can go invisible like you. Enhanced Potion, Extend Potion. Both of these I want. If I can only get one, I always get Enhanced Potion. This takes you to another level of badassery. Your character will be the person that always wields the potions. Why? Because with Enhanced Potion, the potion level is your caster level now. Instead of the caster level that's innate to the potion. They're already built in. Some are level 1 by default, so they're not very good buffs. They don't last for but a minute or a round, and they suck. You can make them last twice as long now because you're level 2 instead of level 1. You can make it last all the way up to 20 minutes, 20 rounds, 200 minutes, depends on the potion that we're talking about. Also, some potions, let's say a healing potion, for example, does like 1d6 of healing plus 1 per caster level, maximum of caster level 5. Well, the potion is set for caster level 1, so it's 1d6 plus 1. That's why people will chug those things and only heal like 2 every time, because they roll a 1 and it heals a 1 besides, so it's a 2 minimum, 7 maximum. That's kind of crap. That's why you burn through those potions left and right. Well, now you can use them, and instead of it being 1d6 plus 1, it'll be 1d6 plus 2, or plus 3, or 4, or finally cap out at plus 5 once you're level 5 or higher. Those potions become extremely useful, and instead of just you healing yourself, remember, you can pour potions into other people's throats, and it still benefits from your Enhanced Potion and or your Extend Potion. That's an amazing combo. But again, if you can't fit both into the build down here, just go for Enhanced Potion. That's good enough. And trust me when I say that's going to make you an awesome teammate for your team. Doesn't matter. I'll grab Tear Strike just to have it. Keep going. More sneak attack, and now we got 3 sneak attack dice and 3d6 plus 3, no less. Mobility's finished at this point. Arcana up to catch up as well, because I think that one's important for you as well. At this point, we can get either Precise Shot if you feel like you want to switch over to Javelins now. I recommend no. I recommend that you actually get your martial weapon proficiency. Like so. Why? Because Javelins aren't going to be good enough for you to do 2-weapon fighting anytime soon. You need to get a Javelins and Throwing Axe in the offhand. Remember, the Throwing Axe was the light weapon, but you didn't have any skill in Throwing Axes. Guess what? You do now. See that? And that's why that was important. You still need Precise Shot, though. It's still going to be something you need. Again, if you really want to try to go single throwing of the Javelin, you can start right now, grab Precise Shot. So a lot of these things can be shuffled around to suit your needs. But know which ones you're getting, just write it down. I'll have it listed below, like I do most of my videos where I walk you through what am I grabbing at level 1, 2, and on up. Okay? But I still maintain martial weapon proficiency. And again, this will, it doesn't say it in the list here, this opens up your Elven Curve Blade because you are an elf. The Elven Curve Blade is exotic for anyone that's not an elf. So for you, you got that Elven Curve Blade now, baby. Have some fun. Now, Stonefish, sure, why not? Keep going. Going to get Dex up to 20 first, because again, I need 19 to get greater 2-weapon fighting unlocked. Now, you don't need 19 Dex for that from yourself. You can get a gear, like a belt of Dexterity plus 2 would be more than enough to put you up and over to 20, which would be what you need for that feat. But I hate relying on gear. And you are a Dex-based dude, let's just say it. More Dex is always appreciated, so get yourself up to 20. Get this up to 20, and then that up to 14 at the very end. Here, we always level up those 3, Trickery, Arcana, and Perception. And then any leftover points, Persuasion, Use Magic Device, and Stealth in that order. Okay, so I don't have to keep repeating myself. In here, I think it's time for that combat trick. Let's get ourselves that Precise Shot, yeah? can grab bark skin. Again, it doesn't matter. You're going to scribe everything to your book. Just grab stuff that you feel like you need. Keep going. Notice you're getting poison resistance more and more. And getting stealth caught up with these other two. And again, I go back through the list. Persuasion, use magic device, and stealth. Persuasion, use magic device, and stealth. That's the order. From here, I'm going to grab... Rapid Shot. I know you may be thinking, well, why not get two-weapon fighting? How is that any different than Rapid Shot? Yeah, I can't throw a throwing axe yet, but I can throw a javelin twice at the same attack bonus, and it's still the same -2 penalty. You see that? So again, it's the same. If you want two-weapon fighting, it's there. Go ahead and grab it, but then get Rapid Shot on the next one. Again, it's potato patata. It's kind of what's up to you. From here, and by the way, I think you might be able to check that here. Can you use a shield? Nope, no shield. I'll say you might be able to throw a javelin while wearing a shield in your offhand. That'd be badass, quite frankly. I never considered to do that. That'd be pretty cool. Again, whatever. Notice delay poison though, and remember your spells are only available on you. See how it says personal? Because we don't have infusion yet. Even though this would be normally a spell that you can cast on other people. You can't until you have infusion. Keep going. Keep going. And we'll grab that one and that one. Okay, what we're going to grab here now. I am going to grab with a combat trick. I think it's time for that two-weapon fighting. So we should be, at this point, two-weapon fighting, whether it's with your daggers and your elven curved blade, in your main hand and dagger in your offhand, or your javelin in your main hand and your throwing axe in your offhand. Obviously, you want masterwork weapons as soon as possible. Oleg should have them for sale. Grab them is my recommendation for you. But now you should be dual fisting it repeatedly. Why? You have enough of an attack bonus that you can handle the penalty to -2 to your swing. Not that big of a deal. Rapid Shot's going to be another -2. Again, that kind of sucks. But again, we got some skill. We got a masterwork weapon at the very least, so at least a +1 to your swing because of that. Your dex is high, and a nice solid 20, or will be right about here. So again, we're doing fine. I'm not worried about your swing. I'm worried about how many attacks in a round you get. So how many attacks in a round are you getting at this point? Well, you have just capped off, let's see, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You got a +4 to your swing, so it means only 1 attack a round. Thanks to Rapid Shot, you get 2 attacks in a round. Thanks to two-weapon fighting, you get 3 attacks in a round, 1 coming from your offhand. So you got 3 attacks right now by level 6. That's not bad. That's a solid fuck you to the bad guy, especially with the sneak attack thrown in there. And again, just make sure you use your potions to buff yourself up. Think of things like heroism, greater heroism, invisibility, greater invisibility. Stuff that's going to give you advantage to attacking those bastards. Alchemist. From here, you want to check to see if you have improved two-weapon fighting. I don't think you do, but you always check it. And the way I always check it, I check it in the thumbs up. I check it in the actual alphabetical. Not in here. I check it down at the bottom in the thumbs down. You'd be surprised how many things you do want show up here in the thumbs down category. And I go even further to the very bottom and check just to make sure it's not for some silly ass reason been shuffled down there. You'd be surprised how often this game glitches on shit like that. So check. It's not there. We're good. Notice we are not getting accomplished sneak attacker. You could if you really needed to be at, instead of 11d6 plus 11, be at 12d6 plus 12. At the end, it's not going to matter. Early levels will be more useful. I can find better uses of my feats than that. But again, on you. On that, also notice that we're not getting like power attack or piranha strike or anything that's going to be melee centric for melee damaging like crazy. You will get, of course, that deadly aim. You can't afford it right now, but it is available to you, I'm fairly certain. Yeah, right here. You can't afford that penalty to get that damage bonus yet. You'll get it. I'm not in any big hurry for it, but it is something that's going to come along before too long. Notice we're also going to get, and it's not even available yet either, it's called clustered shots. You want that one too. We also want improved critical, and that's not available yet either. So again, we got lots of things we don't have. As far as meta magics are concerned, I would shy away from them for you, for feat purposes anyway. If you're going to get any, get meta magic extend, because most of your buffs or your spells are buffs, so why not double the duration? But it's not really necessary to me. What will I grab then instead of that? Let me find it. Where are you? Let me check something real quick. I don't think I need weapon focus, but I want to prove it to myself. Improved initiative, or not critical. Yeah, base attack bonus. Okay, so we're fine. Which means I probably grabbed that when I shouldn't have. No big deal. I will grab additional traits. Here we go. Let's do physique drawback. We're going to take hedonistic. Again, another one that if you have enough loot is not a problem. If you don't, you're suddenly fatigued permanently until you get your money back up. So -2 to strength, -2 to dex. I would avoid this. Make sure you have money. Okay, don't go crazy. That gives us 3 traits to play with. And again, what were our traits? We wanted social. We wanted adopted. Remember, we wanted ever-wary tiefling. For another one, we wanted regional. We wanted bruising intellect. Why? Because that's a persuasion bump. And our intelligence modifier, remember, if you go back here, if you do a click, click, suddenly you see the check, and you see the big bonus right there. And one more that's going to buff us, and that's going to buff our magic, will be our pragmatic activator. Why? Because again, go back to skills and see the use magic device at +7, go click, click, now it's up to +11. Because it's all keying off of intelligence now. That's an amazing screw you to the bad guys, because now you have a really nice chance for interactions, whether it's intimidation or persuasion checks in general. Use magic device will be nice for when you want to cast spells from like wands, buffs from scrolls, things of that nature, stuff that you can't cast because it's not part of your repertoire, but you really want that scroll because, hey, that's a cool buff. Here you go. Use magic device to help you out. From here, again, what you feel. Fly spell, haste, heroism are all solid choices, but again, you're going to grab everything. Now, we're probably done taking feats down in the bottom. Dexterity is a solid 20. That's a +5 now. Better reflexes, better attack bonuses. Really, really nice trickery, mobility, and stealth for your character. From here, we're going to go back now into the stuff that we want from here. So do we want preserve organs now, or do we want infusion now? That's your choice, in my opinion. That's what I would focus on. I like the idea of casting spells on my teammates, and we're at level 3 spells now, plus. So it's probably a good time where we can start buffing the team. Beyond using our potions to buff the team, of course. I'm going to grab haste. Actually, I'm going to grab rage, because there's a reason for that. Alchemist, more sneak attack dice, of course. Always nice. We're about to become immune to poison damage. Improved to weapon fighting. As soon as it's available, you probably want to grab it. From here, I'm going to grab myself some haste. Sounds good to me. Now, the reason the game is reason the game is stopping right now is because these guys didn't get beyond that level. So I'll have to power level your character up at this point. So take you, say accept. Come on over here, kiddo. And the way we do that is do Control F10, Bag of Tricks. I do character creation, progression experience. Just give it like a ridiculously high number, like 3, 6, and 5 zeros. And then click your character. Goes up and up. Now you should be level 20. So we just keep going. Here's level 10. Knows your immunity to poison now. That's awesome. And immunity in this game, I cannot stress enough, is power. You can always find a way to use any kind of immunity. Immunity to sleep, immunity to poison, immunity to trip, as weird as it is to say, is something you can rely on. And there's ways to micromanage the team in a way that screws over the bad guys when you have those immunities and you know how to use them with your spells or their abilities. For example, poison. You don't have the ability to throw out poison spells without wands, of course, but someone on your team like Ragongar or Octavia can, and Stinking Cloud is a poison. Cloud Kill is a poison. You could stand in that shit all fucking day long and not at this point, and it won't affect you one whit. That's amazing. And again, all kinds of other tricks besides. Notice we also get, thanks to being a Vivisectionist, advanced talents. This opens a world of kick-ass stuff for you right now. Let me show you what I mean. Notice that we get things like Crippling Strike, Dispelling Attack, and maybe slow reactions. That may have been there before. But again, stuff that only a rogue proper gets. But Crippling Strike is the one I'm going to take. We'll even get Dispelling Attack, probably, in this build, because it's just that cool. But Crippling Strike, anytime you sneak attack, period, the target loses 2 strength. Now, they could be immune to ability drain. They could be immune to sneak attack, and therefore it's not going to do a goddamn thing against them. But if they are, you can kill a dude by taking his strength to 0 or lower. So again, with up to 9 attacks in a combat round where all 9 can be sneak attack damage, that's technically a minus 18, I think. Assuming it's per attack. It could be per round. I don't know that. But the point's still the same. You could still screw over a dude. So take the heaviest hitting motherfucker on the damn map, and if he can be sneak attacked, go to town. You're going to love it, especially that since you're doing it at range. Unlike, say, Knock Knock will be doing it at melee. From here, I'm going to grab Greater Viz, because doy. Keep going. From here, we got our improved. We won't get the greater until level 15. That's as soon as you have a high enough BAB to pick it up in this build. You can get it earlier, say on a ranger build, but that's for another video. So again, we're not going to do that. This was a solid way to screw over the bad guys. You'll get your third attack and final attack here from your offhand weapon. So what are we missing? Well, again, we wanted that cluster shots, right? We wanted that deadly aim, right? So again, we got both of those to pick from. We also wanted improved critical for your throwing axe. I can't tell you what to grab in what order. Again, if you feel like you could crit more, here you go. If you feel like you want to have to penetrate their armor, their resistances, clustered shots really trivializes many fights. If you just want to do steady Eddie damage, deadly aim is your way. So I'm just going to do deadly aim. But again, you will decide the order yourself. I'm going to grab Death Ward because it's awesome. Notice we're going to pick up here one that we should have picked up a while ago, probably because of my 2-weapon fighting. Honestly, additional traits probably would have been farther back. 2-weapon fighting would be up here, and I would have grabbed down here, the one I'm going to grab right now. First, let's put intelligence there. Those guys up, you and you. And I'm going to grab Preserve Organs. It's an amazing ability where you basically, 25% of the time, if a crit or a sneak attack would have landed, it goes back to being normal damage. You can get this multiple times, increasing it all the way up to 75% chance to ignore that. This makes you extremely durable. When you downside is on stuff like this, you don't see it. I mean, unless you're monitoring the combat log all the time. You're looking at it going, oh, well, I'm taking a lot of damage. I'm getting critted all the time, and I'm getting sneak attacked all the time. This sucks, yo. We'll get this like 2-3 times, where you get up to the 50% or the 75%. That, and you're stacking armor and all the spells and buffs that we're going to put on your character. A, you're not going to get hit all that much, and B, when you are, even if it could have crit 75% of the time, it's just going to say, nope, sorry, back to normal damage. And it'll be a cakewalk from that point. We also do Preserve Organs because it unlocks another one that you want. It's called Mummification. I'm going to show you that here in a minute. Let's grab you some pretty little wings like fly. Keep going. Do that, and you and you. Come on. From here, again, we got our deadly aim. Do you want that clustered shots now, or do you want that improved critical now? Again, I can't tell you. I'm just going to go with clustered shots. Here, I'm going to grab Overland Flight. You may just say, well, you just picked up wings just a minute ago, didn't you? Doesn't look like I did, actually. There it is, fly. I'm grabbing Overland Flight because it's better in that it lasts longer. Hours per level. And again, that's an amazing buff. You move not quite as fast. You get 40 feet instead of 60. Fly is better for speed. But the same dodge bonus and the same mobility bonus, which is a solid thing. And you are immune to difficult terrain. Again, immunity. Very powerful. You don't have the ability to capitalize on it, but a teammate can throw grease down on the ground, and with your pretty little wings, you skitter right over that shit. Doesn't bother you one bit. Going. Now from here, see how we needed Preserve Organs, at least one level of it to get to get the Mummification. This one again is amazing. Immunity to cold. Remember, we were susceptible to cold. Well, not anymore, baby. You're immune. And you're immune to paralysis and sleep. Well, you're an elf. You are immune to that. But it's not the point. There's 2 more things that you're now immune to, one of which was an actual problem for you thanks to your spell vulnerability to abjuration, right? So this is a solid upgrade for your character. And again, you can capitalize on that. And if you don't think so, think about how having Octavia or Ragangar behind you, when they're doing Dragon's Breath of Cold or Cone of Cold right behind your ass, where say this is them, This is you, and you're getting bum rushed by the bad guys. They're behind you, and they do Cone of Cold where it would hit you. Guess what? Doesn't matter. You're immune. So again, you can see the appeal. All kinds of ways for you to set stuff up this way. From here, get yourself some spell resistance. Sure, why not? Keep going. Greater 2 weapon fighting at level 15, like I said. Even thumbs up for you, so you know that you want it. From here, I'm just going to grab Stone Skin Communal. Again, you're grabbing everything, so it don't matter. Young Alchemist. More intelligence, and look at that massive jump of skill points. So these ones are still going up. Persuasion, I would say, is probably my more important one. Again, decide. What is, of these three, the most important to you? Persuasion, use magic device, or stealth? Stealth, you may say, well, I want a stealth. I'm going to be sneaky and ninja attack everybody, right? But you're going to have greater invis on. That throws another 20 points to this side of the damn thing. So instead of 14, you're at 34. So don't feel like stealth is that important. It helps, don't kid yourself, but it's still one of those where we'll buff it still. But I still maintain that your kingdom comes first. So I do persuasion. And then from there, I could split it, or I can stop stealth now because 15 is actually pretty goddamn good. And then just put the rest in the use magic device from now on to try to get it to level up. But again, on you for how you spread those points around. From here, we were a little behind the curve on this, but I'll grab Greater Mutagen now. We could have grabbed it sooner. Notice this at level 12, no less. So we were behind the curve because, like I said, I picked up 2 weapon fighting instead of grabbing it here. I probably should have grabbed Infusion and shuffled some stuff around, but it's still fine. What does this do? Instead of it being a plus 4 to your strength or your dex or your con, your choice, probably dex, now you get something that can buff 2 stats. 1 plus 6, I recommend dex, and then something else plus 4, I recommend strength, so you hit for harder damage. But again, you can go dex con. Why? Because extra hit points, extra fortitude, you can see the appeal. Notice your armor even went up from plus 2 to plus 4, so this is a better mutagen. And again, they last for long periods of time now. So again, you're doing real well for yourself, but you probably could have had that a little sooner. But I still maintain that I like the mummification and the preserve organs. But on you. Here, I'm going to grab the 3 that you know you want. You wanted legendary proportions, you want transformation, and you want true seeing. You didn't say it, but I assume you knew this. Legendary proportions, as you know, is amazing buff to your strength and your con and your armor and your damage output, and no penalty to dex. It's easier for you to hit, or be hit, because you're so goddamn big, and it's harder for you to hit them because you're so goddamn big and they're so goddamn tiny. But it's only like a -2. That's not that big of a deal, and for the amount of buff you're getting from this bastard, totally worth it. And remember, with Infusion, you don't have to just cast this on yourself. Give this to Amiri. Have her be that great sword wielding son of a bitch in the front ranks and just lopping heads off in a big fucking circle. This is a powerful, powerful spell. Transformation, you can't cast spells once you cast it, so make sure you cast it on yourself and be done with your buffs. True Seeing, I'm assuming you want to see invisible creatures so that they don't have advantage on you where they're taking away your dexterity modifier completely. I know we have some way of getting that back, but not much. I'd rather have none of it go away. Keep going. And I honestly, I think I really do want to catch Use Magic Device up, but up to you. You can split them between it and stealth if you want. From here, we need to get that improved critical. And again, you could do it for Javelin, and you may say, why Javelin, or why throw axes? Where you at, little bastard? Why throwing axes instead of the Javelin? You're only going to get 3 attacks with the throwing axes, because it's in your offhand. Where in the Javelin, you can get upwards of 6 attacks. So why wouldn't you want to have it crit more often than not? Both of these weapons only crit on a natural 20. Getting improved critical means they only crit on a 19 and 20. However, there is at least one throwing axe in the game, I'll show it to you, where the crit range of it is 18, 19, and 20 naturally. That means with improved critical, that jumps now to the best crit range in the game, which is 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, or 20. And if it hits the target, they'll try to crit. That means your throwing axes are going to crit more often than not for that one throwing axe and that one throwing axe alone. Totally worth, in my opinion. From here, we get that transformation spell, like we said. Keep going. Use magic device, sounds good to me. From here, I would shy away, just to point it out to you, of Grand Mutagen. It's a nice buff. Don't kill yourself. More armor. Something's at +8, something's at +6, and something's at +4 now. But it's a hop, skip, and a jump away from the true mutagen, which is the one over here in your Grand Discovery, and that will be an 8, an 8, an 8, and an 8 natural armor. So this is wasted on you, in my opinion. I would just suck it up and deal with the fact that you only have the greater mutagen right now. As far as other stuff is concerned, again, I do like that Preserve Organs. That's looking really appealing. I do like Fast Stealth. I like Dispelling Attack, and I also like Extend Potion. There's a lot of good stuff in here. So again, no real wrong answer per se, but I do hate the focusing attacks and the feral mutagen. This isn't you. From here, I'm going to grab True Seeing, like I said. Keep going. Last sneak attack die. Just amazing amount of screw you damage that you're going to put out. Use Magic Device almost caught up as well. And this one here, I think this one was a gimme. So you could be like Blind Fight, solid choice. I could get Dodge for an extra armor bump. Why not? Double Slice. If you're going to melee at all, this could be useful. It's not necessary in my opinion because you're not really a melee guy. You get Improved Initiative. If you're going to keep it range, which sounds like you're going to, Improved Precise Shot's not a bad idea. Notice this one here. You ignore blur effects, basically 20% concealment. This is a great fuck you to the bad guy. When they have blur on them and you're missing, and this shit sucks, Improved Precise Shot, not a problem anymore. Now, total concealment's still an issue, but it's just one of those things that you have to deal with. Other stuff in here that could have been interesting, remember, we don't have Meta Magic Extend. We could grab that now. You could grab... Accomplished Sneak Attacker for an extra die. You can get Improved Critical for the other weapon, the Javelin. You can get Weapon Focus for the Javelin, or Weapon Focus for the Throwing Axe. We never grabbed it. You can. Many Shot doesn't do you any good, so don't bother. Hammer the Gap won't do you any good unless you melee, so don't bother. We can get a bonus to your armor, but in that point, honestly, I'd just say screw, get yourself Dodge, quite frankly. But again, on you. For me, I like Improved Precise Shot or Blind Fight. Either of those are solid choices. And Blind Fight's appealing not because of the melee, it's appealing because of the immunity to gaze attacks to me. But again, I like the range, so Improved Precise Shot it is. From here, I'm going to grab Heal. I will point out that with Infusion, not only can you heal yourself or your team with this, and that's a solid 150 of healing. That's an amazing amount of health coming their way in one combat round. You can also use this to attack undead. It's 150 points as a touch attack. Remember, you have Weapon Finesse. You will use your Dexterity modifier to walk over, touch them on the goddamn shoulder, and fucking ruin their day. This is a solid spell for an attack. It's not amazing. I wouldn't slot it up heavily, but you would have one or two at least on yourself. Don't forget you have the ability to do those things. Level 20 Alchemist, and now we get not only 2 discoveries. We get Discovery, a Vivisectionist Medical Discovery, and of course our Grand Discovery. That's going to be our true mutagen. So we're going to get 3. Notice here's our first discovery. This one here. Notice we don't have a combat trick in this list. That's okay. I'm going to get myself Preserve Organs, because that's our 3rd one. So now we're at a 75% chance to ignore crits and sneak attacks. Just amazing. Then they make us pick a point in strength. Solid, finally. Upgrade. Better damage with our weapons, whether it's melee or range, because they're using strength-based weapons. That +2 is not amazing, but it's there. We got a really nice Trickery, Arcana, Perception and Persuasion, and Use Magic Device is not that bad, I'd say. Stealth is okay, but again, with Advantage, Visibility, or a greater invisibility spell, or potion even for that matter, that you cast on yourself, this goes up 20 more points to a solid 35. And that doesn't count all the gear and all the dexterity bonuses stuff that we're going to give ourselves as well. So this is going to be much better than you think. The Grand Discovery, again, the 3 choices. You can have a +2 permanently to your intelligence. Who cares? Fast healing. You can regenerate all the goddamn time. That's not bad, but I would do that more on a melee build. True mutagen. This is the one you want. This is the one that replaces. Well, not replace. They're still in your tray. But this is to be the one you use from this point on. True mutagen is the one that's a +8 armor, +8 to strength, dex, and con. And I can notice that the strength penalty or bonus, the strength, dex, and con bonus is a corresponding penalty to intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, but only a -2. So you will see those 3 stats go down when you use this particular mutagen. So what? But you get it twice a day, remember, thanks to our trait. Now, Medical Discovery, last one. Notice this one again now does have a combat trick. So again, you can grab something else if you felt shortchanged. Here's Blind Fight, baby, grab it. But I like Dispelling Attack. I like Fast Stealth. I like Extended Potion. Grand Mutagen is a waste at this point, so don't bother. Again, I don't like the focusing attacks. I will show you one possible use of slow reactions. You are a ranged attacker. Let's say someone like your main tank falls down with a trip effect. She's face planted and she's being meleeed by a bunch of bad guys. It's her turn. She wants to stand the fuck back up. What happens? Attacks of opportunity, right? Well, if before her turn, it's your turn, and you see a bastard that's right on top of her waiting to fucking stab her in the throat when she tries to stand back up, sneak attack his ass. If you sneak attack him even once in that round, for that next round, he cannot do an attack of opportunity, which means she can get the fuck back up safely, at least from that one guy. You see that? But more likely than not, you're just going to straight up murder the dude, but it's not the point. See, this is cool, but it's not that cool. Again, I like fast stealth because I like being zippy. I like extended potion because I like having it, instead of lasting for 20 minutes, I like having it last for 40. It's just an amazing upgrade. But I can see the appeal for dispelling attack, and I said I'd grab it, so here you go. Anytime you sneak attack, if they have a spell on them, you basically are trying to dispel it, like a dispel magic attack. And again, we're going to get upwards of 9 attacks in a combat round on a motherfucker. So he's going to lose lots of spells on him. I mean, he may make a check, he may make a check, he may make a check. Eventually, he's going to fail a check, and he's going to lose blur or mirror image or just other shit that's going to piss him off and make you happy. This is a solid upgrade. Last one here, doesn't matter. I will point out that notice Eye Bite is one of the 2 spells that you do not want to have in your spell list and cast it if you do not have infusion. It will target you, it will fuck your world up. The other one is Touch of Slime. You will fuck your shit up if you do not have infusion, because you will cast it on yourself and you will poison/disease yourself. Big no-no. We have infusion, so it's not that big a deal. Notice that you'll have freedom of movement. Remember, you're immune to paralysis now, thanks to your mummification and all that other cool shit, right? But it's not the point. Your teammates could use it. Restorations, stone skin, communal stone skin, etc. and so forth. There's a lot of good stuff here. And if you want to just have some general melee fun, go all Dragonkind on his ass with legendary proportions and just murder some shit. It is more fun than you think. But that's your character, buddy. Now let's actually gift you some stuff. Okay, so what are we going to gift you? Items. We want to give you a specific list of weapons. So let's talk about javelins first. Okay, so for your javelins, the only 3 that I give a rat's ass about are the +5, the holy +3, and the speed +3. Yes, +4 is there, but a speed weapon, you get an extra attack around. You can see how that's better. And again, +4 is better than +3, but a holy +3, again, that's still a little bit better in my estimation. That's your main weapon. Then your offhand weapon is going to be throwing axes, right? The only ones I care about are Ornery, Frozen Crescent, and Throwing Axe, for reasons that I'll show you. But Frozen Crescent is the best of those, in my opinion. Solid choice. As far as armor is concerned, there is chain mail that is actually considered light armor in this game. And it's either Mail of Clear Skies or the Celestial Armor. I can never remember. I'll show them to you. That's not your best choice. You can only wear light armor. The one you really want is one that's called Guardian Armor. Royal Guardian, that's it. And I'll show you why. As far as belts go and hats, you want the belt of Physical Perfection +8. That's for Strength, Dex, and Con. And the hat of Mental Perfection +8. That's for Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. So we just gave both of those stats massive buffs. We also want an elixir that is going to be crafted for you by Bakken. If you know how to do that side quest, definitely do it. This is a solid +2 to all 6 of your abilities. Strength, Dex, Con, Intelligence, Wisdom, Charisma. Only can use it once, only on one person. On the team, I recommend your main character. Solid upgrade. I think I clicked that, but just in case. Other stuff. Gloves. Let's actually shrink these down a little bit here. As far as gloves are concerned, there's a few solid choices, in my opinion. Just search A. You'll see all of them. Death Dealer is a good one. The extra sneak attack damage. I do like the Gloves of the Precise Shot. That's the one you're probably going to use. If you don't like that, we have other ones like the Trickster's Gloves if you need more mobility or whatever. Star Soldier's Gauntlet if you want to do a raise spell attack every now and again. That touch attack can do sneak attack too. Don't kid yourself. That shit's going to be powerful. You can get what else? Alkali Gloves if you just want your attacks to do acid damage per strike. It's only 1d6, but fuck it. That's fun. And there's another one in here, Death from Afar, that you want as well. I'll show you the differences in those. From there, neck items I do like for you. Anyway, Gyrona's Amulet's amazing. And so is Heart of Ira. There's other stuff in here too, but those are the main 2 that I love. From there, it was, I think, the rings. Okay, now this is where we get freaky. You're going to get yourself a ring. Greater Ring of Ultimate Protection is the best one. The one to go with that is you're going to want the Ring of Circumstances, which is right here. If you can't get the Greater Ring of Ultimate Protection, the Ring of Law if you're lawful, the Ring of Chaos if you're chaotic, or the Greater Ring of Balance if you're true neutral, which this character is. Also, Great Dreamer's Smile is a solid ring choice. Now, I know that's a lot of shit, and that's not even every piece of gear you can get, but I want to show you some stuff. So first off, you go to here. We are going to sort by price. So you're going to have your +5 javelin and your +5 throwing axe, and you're doing solid attacks already, right? Not done yet. We have our speed javelin. Notice the extra attack, and of course this is where we kick in our frozen crescent. Notice the massive crit range. This is the one with the high crit range of 18, 19, 20. It's only a +3 weapon, but it's also a furious weapon. More on that later. Over here, I wanted to show you that with a dagger in your offhand, notice that you can have a thrown weapon in your main hand and a melee weapon in your offhand. It's weird. Only reason I bring it up is because A, it's cool, and B, there are weapons that if you hold them in your little fingers, you get a massive buff or immunity or better armor, whatever. Lots of those happen to be daggers. So if you don't give a shit about having 9 attacks or 6 attacks and 8 attacks or whatever, and 4, 5, or 6 attacks is good enough for you on this side, go with your javelin or your throwing axe over here, and then get yourself that dagger, the rapier, the short sword, the whatever that's giving you like immunity to X just by holding it in your offhand. See that? But that's probably not for you. You're probably doing something like this, the ornery one. And again, what do these ones do? Well, this one's just a mobility bonus. It's a +1 weapon. But notice something else. Furious. Notice how Furious is on here. What does that mean? If you right-click and read the info, scroll down and it tells you it's +2 better if you're under the effect of a rage spell or raging like a barbarian. You're not a barbarian, but you do have a rage spell. Remember, I picked it on purpose. That's why. So this +3 weapon is not as good as your +5. It's got a better crit range though. If I happen to rage, cast that spell on myself, and then go to town with another +2. See what I'm saying? Solid upgrade. Armor-wise, here's your Mail of Clear Sky. See how it's medium armor at the top, but at the bottom it says it is considered light armor. That's why I can wear it. Notice it's +5 dex. I'm getting all +5 dex because the max dexterity is +5. Awesome. It's a solid armor. However, this one, which is worse armor, see the 8 versus the 11, you may say, well, this is going to be terrible, and it definitely is, but we have yet to buff your dexterity. Notice this one can have dexterity all the way up to a +15, and you may be like, I'm never going to get there. I'm going to get you there, buddy, and let me show you how. First off, Ring of Circumstances. Let's get our hat and our belt on. Already we're at +9. The ring puts you at +10. You have yet to chug your mutagen. Let's actually do that right now. That's this guy right here, the true mutagen. Okay, what are we up to now? 13. We're almost there. First, you need to drink a potion. That's the Elixir of Inconceivable blah blah. Watch these all go up 2 points, and these all go up 1 more point. That's what that does, and that's from Bakken. Permanent buff. That's why we're at 14. With the ring activated, which I need to rest still to do that, but I'll show you that in a minute, I can buff 4 stats, and that can be any of these 4 things. I recommend you buff Strength, Dex, Intelligence, and Armor. Intelligence, because who doesn't like more skills for your knowledge checks, as well as your more spells a day. But you also get, with Dex, more attack bonus, more reflexes, more armor, and then we can actually buff just armor, so get another buff to armor, and then we can buff Strength, which gives us more damage with our ranged strength-based weapons. See the appeal? Just saying, there's a lot of stuff that you can do with that. As far as rings are concerned, here's our Greater Ring of Ultimate Protection. This would be what I would shoot for. It's a lot of bang for your buck for just one piece of gear. Look at that shit. That's a +5 resistance to all your saving throws. That's normally from your cloak. You get a +5 deflection bonus to your armor class. That's here, here, and here. And that's normally your Shield of Faith spell, the one that you can chug a potion of and be at +5. This is already there. That doesn't mean you don't want to have them, because you're going to buff your team with it. But this is the ring you give yourself. Notice it even gives you even more. Spell resistance for free, DR2/dash, which means physical damage is always lessened by 2, period. It's fucking cool. Makes you tough. Look at your health, bro. And we ain't done yet. I could even make it higher if I made this instead of strength, dex, intelligence. I could do strength, dex, con, and armor. And get this up another 20 goddamn points. And we're still not done. Let's look at necklaces. Well, first let's go back to the rings. Instead of the Greater Ring of Ultimate Protection, other choices, let's go by type. Other choices are the Great Dreamer's Smile. Notice how this is a +2 luck bonus to your attacks, which makes you even better at throwing those goddamn weapons of yours. And damage. And it's a bonus to your saving throws. And again, it's a luck bonus, so it stacks with other things. So if you get the Cloak of Resistance +5, it will stack with that +2 from this luck bonus, making these even higher. You can even get a bonus to your skills. Spell Pen, not that you care, but it also makes you immune to curses. No, not happy with that one? How about you get yourself the Greater Ring of Balance? That's the one if you're true neutral, only can wear this. +5 deflection, immunity to the following: fear, emotion, confusion, and you have continuous freedom of movement on yourself. You're permanently protected from being immune, from being paralyzed. This is slowed, difficult terrain, never an issue for you because you have this ring on. Don't like that one? Maybe you were lawful. Here's your Ring of Law. It is not, I can't equip it. It's a +4 deflection, not +5, but you are immune to confusion. It's not as good, but again, it's useful. Same with the Chaos. It's very similar. +4 deflection, continuous freedom of movement, but you have to be chaotic to wear it. But those are my top choices. Again, my favorite being the Greater Ring of Ultimate Protection, but there are other things that are appealing from the other guys. As far as gloves now, you want to do just extra acid damage with every fucking smack? 1d6, baby. It's just extra. And again, even if they're immune to sneak attack and crits, the acid they may not be immune to, so extra damage, period. You just gotta love it. Kind of lame, okay, granted. How about you want to hit with any of your ranged attacks even better? Here's a +4 to your swing. That's a solid. Look at the penalties you have to your swing. Rapid shot, deadly aim, and other from two-fisting it. This glove technically is going to counter the -2 and the -2 from the 2-weapon wielding and from the rapid shot being on. So basically you're only at a -4 penalty from deadly aim. That's not bad. Don't like that one? There's better than it in the gloves of precise shot. It's +5. Now how is this different than the other one? Not just is it +5, this is only for ranged weapons. Well, these are ranged weapons, baby. The other one says ranged attacks. Why is that important? Well, if you wanted to be a spellcaster, like the Eldritch Scoundrel, that's using the race spells and your cantrips and all that fun shit for your sneak attack love, that's a ranged attack, not a ranged weapon. This one would benefit those. This one will not benefit those race spells. It's not a ranged weapon, therefore no bonus. So get this one. I just want to point that out because a lot of people make that mistake, and so do I. I want to make sure that's clear. Don't like this one or can't find it yet? We have also Gloves of the Death Dealer. Extra sneak attack die. You're at 10, 11d6. Now you're at 12d6 plus 12 damage per attack. And we got a lot of goddamn attacks coming our way. Just saying, there's a lot of fun to be had. And again, last couple honorable mentions. We got our Trickster Gloves. That's just a bonus of mobility and a spell use that you can use a day, something you didn't normally have. So I look for gear that gives me an extra spell that I didn't have, like an attack spell. For example, a cloak. I can get a cloak that allows me to summon monsters like once a day for like 9 rounds. Sometimes it's helpful. It gets bad guys off you, gives you a chance to start chugging your potions, buff yourself back up, whatever you got to do. Maybe helps you just flank the target for sneak attack love. That's what you're going to build towards for this other stuff. But if you don't like that, here's your Star Soldier's Gauntlet. Now notice these ones. These are crafted. Notice the bonus to strength don't stack with your belt, but that just means that I don't need the physical perfection +8 belt. I just need a belt that gives me dex of 8 and con of 8. Why? Because I'm getting the strength of 8 from here. Notice I also get to use at will a laser beam that does 46 of damage, and that's technically what they do is they give you Scorching Ray, 3 beams per round for free. Now that's not the same as 9 or 8 or 9 attacks that we're getting from here, but these are not touch attacks. Those are. This is fire damage. These are not. So again, if you need to do some easy hitting attacks, and remember, you can sneak attack with those beams. They have a to hit check. Remember that. Now, of course, we can't wear the other gloves that give us a better bonus, but you have a solid dexterity and an attack modifier. I don't feel like you're going to miss with the +15 BAB that you got going on. Make sure to shut off rapid shot and deadly aim because they fuck that shit up. And you do not benefit from having rapid shot or deadly aim on when you're casting that attack. So definitely shut those 2 toggles off. before you use those beams. But you can do 46, 46, 46 of damage to one target, fire, fire, fire. On top of that, if all three hit and you get sneak attack for all three, which is kind of a crapshoot, but you can set it up pretty easy. You're getting 11d6 plus 11, 11d6 plus 11, 11d6 plus 11 fire damage on top of that shit. Tell me that shit don't look fucking sexy. We didn't even talk about boots, but I don't particularly care. You can get whatever the hell you want on this. There's a lot of different kinds. Stuff that makes you immune to things. Stuff that makes you run faster. Again, I'd probably just err on the side of running faster, quite frankly. Again, positioning. Get yourself behind the bad guys. Cloak. If you have the resistance plus whatever from the rings, you don't need a cloak of resistance. That's why you have cloaks that can do other things. Cast spells. You know, there's one that makes you like acid resistance 30, and you can cast acid fog twice a goddamn day. Staying in that fog, that cloak will protect you from it and piss off the bad guys. Necklaces. We had our Heart of Ira. This is a toggle one that you can turn on. It will damage your team. Be careful, but this trivializes many fights. Constant 2d6 of damage in anything in the aura except for you. And notice something else. The necklace, without even turning the aura on, makes you immune to fatigue and exhaustion. And remember, immunity to stuff is power. You can't turn shit down like that down. If you don't want that one, the best one, in my opinion, is, of course, the Gyrona's Amulet. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. But notice a +5 to your armor in all three goddamn categories. It's an insight bonus, which isn't common. Therefore, it won't stack with other insight bonuses. But again, because it's not common, it's less likely to be a problem for you. So you will get that +5, that +5, and that +5 in here. That's a solid touch armor class. And the best part of this necklace, look at this little son of a bitch. When you start a combat round, for whatever reason, the fight starts, a surprise attack. The necklace knows it's a fight, and mirror image is immediately cast on your character. Poof. That's a spell you can't cast, bro. So, you got mirror image up, and again, pisses off the bad guys. The fight's over, mirror images collapse. Go back into the next room. Oh, look, another fight that starts up immediately. Guess what? It casts it again. Replenishes itself, you're back to full for your mirror image, and go to town. And you got such good armor with all the other stuff we got going for you. You're not getting hit, and neither are those images that much. That will last you a good long while per fight. And even if they get lucky, so what? That's doing its job. It's taking those hits for you so that you don't have to. And you can take hits, baby. Remember, you're 75% immune to crits, 75% immune to sneak attack. You have ridiculous health. You have retardedly high armor, reflexes, and saves besides. Will is your really one weak spot here. And we have ways to protect you from that with different gear. So you're doing fine. I think this is a solid tune. I'm not going to show you what it can do because I think you'll just have more fun playing with it yourself. The one thing I will show you though is that don't forget that this little tab here for your potions that you can drink. Remember, with your extended potion and or enhanced potion, this is how you click it and give it to someone else. See that? Who is this? This is Scroll Savant. See this right here? Reduce person. 20 minutes. Why is it 20 instead of 1? Because it should be 1. Because I have enhanced potion. I made her drink it from my hand. If someone was damaged for health, look at what this would normally do. 1d8, not 1d6, my bad. 1d8 healing, +1 per caster level, maximum of 5. The potion is caster level 1. But you are not. And with enhanced potion, now I can cast it at the maximum. Whether I drink it myself or give it to someone else, I almost always do the tab. And then just click the person that I want to kick it on. Even if it's me. I don't, because if you want to just drink it, you can just click the potion. But I normally just do the tab, just out of default, to remind myself that I can give it to anybody. Right? Walk over, give it to her. Walk over, give it to yourself. And again, minimum is now 1d8 plus 5. So that means minimum of 6, maximum of 13. You will find a lot more uses for these potions than you thought. And these are the crappy ones. And that's not even counting all your other beautiful potions. Oh, we got my type here. For example, we got Blur for long periods of time. We got Aid over here. Bark Skins over here. And then, remember, not just you, your team. Notice we do not have natural armor enhancement for our protection over here. Why? Because you can cast Bark Skin on yourself or chug a potion. And you get that full +5 bonus for long periods of time. Same with your invisibilities, greater invis or heroism, mage armor, not really. But heroism, greater heroism lasts a long time, solid buffs to your swing. You'll be surprised at how often instead of using it from your spell book, you actually use it from the potion instead. Because You just do it naturally better from the potion, and it's just easier to buy more potions. So again, you'll stockpile these things. No Shield of Faith until you get a Ring of Protection +4 or +5. This is your bread and butter, baby. This is the one that for everyone else is a +2 for 1 minute. Because it's you, as you level up, it goes up to 1 minute to 2 minutes, eventually 20 minutes, and it goes from +2 to +3 all the way up eventually to +5 by level 18. This will be something that from start to finish you'll be using this on the teammates, even if it's not you, because you'll give the best gear to yourself. I think you're going to have fun with this build. I think this did everything that I wanted your character to do, and again, just to gift it to you, because I never did test it. Weapons. I don't need rings. I'm looking for the Elven Curved Blade. Clarity. I go by the name ones almost always. The Keen Elven Curved Blade of +3 would be cool. Destructive Bringing Energy Elven Curved Blade, though that sounds like fun. The Bleed Elven Curved Blade +3, the Savior, and the Bane of the Living. There we go. Why am I doing this? Because I'm a sadist. I want you to see with the Elven Curved Blade, for example. Like we got the Destructive Brilliant Energy. This is a non-name one. Oh, it's a two-handed. Ah, boo. I was kind of hoping you could do daggers. My bad, man. But Weapon Finesse still is applicable for you. And again, if you wanted to melee, you're not going to do great at it. With a haste spell, though, you could be solid. You'd be up to 4 attacks. If you had transformation on yourself after casting haste, you went from 4 attacks to 5 attacks. Again, but if we go to like this guy here, you cast a transformation on yourself, you go from 5 to 6, +3 more. So again, that's how I can get you to 9, thanks to transformation. And of course, either a haste spell or in this case, a speed weapon. That's why you're badass. And if you get the +5 Javelin, see how you went down in attack? Just cast haste on yourself. Remember, they don't stack. But until you get this +4, +5 Javelin, use the +3 speed one. Okay, just to guarantee you have the extra attack. You don't have to think about casting haste all the damn time. That's not bad. But again, these are nice. And again, why do I point this one out? The Brilliant Energy one is the one that ignores armor. No shield, no armor. Like actual plate armor is ignored. It's basically a touch attack weapon now. It just won't do damage against undead, constructs, or objects. So, that's the thing. It does have a better crit range than most of your weapons, 18 to 20. And because it's destructive, look at this little fucker. The crit is now ×3 instead of ×2. So it's going to hit like a brick shithouse. Sadly, we don't have a lot of buff to this. 19 is nice, right? But it could have been better. Why is it not better? We don't have power attack. We don't have slashing grace or fencing grace or whatever the hell it is. We don't have piranha strike. We don't have arcane strike because you're not an arcane caster per se. So again, there's ways that this could have been better. But again, take at 20 minimum, times that by 3 when you crit. 60 damage per smack is pretty good still. I'm just saying. This is some fun you can have. But again, if that's not your cup of tea, go back to your ranged attacks. Now I think this video's gone on long enough. Managed to get it down to under 2 hours. Woot! With that though, I will have the other video up for you sometime tomorrow. That will be the one where we do the Flame Warden that you said you wanted to see with a, I think you specifically said you wanted to do a hand axe or a battle axe and a board, a shield. So I will check your notes on that just to make sure I'm making the right build for you. But I'll make that one for you tomorrow. You may see that either tomorrow or the next day, but look for it. You'll see it soon, buddy. With that, my name is Brother. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Anyone else like this video? Did you guys change stuff up? What would you change different? But with that, I'll see you guys soon. Bye now.